road least traveled, Nina Gray.
I have to tell you about the wisdom I received back in 11th grade, Mr. Morrison's human anatomy class. It was life-changing, paradigm shifting. Allow me to preface this story with a paraphrase statement. The road to destruction overflows, whereas the road to righteousness and life is far less traveled. Now, have any of you heard something similar to this before? Yeah, you know, I seem to hear this almost every day as a child. My grandmother said this over and over again. I thought the woman had Alzheimer's. She said it so much. Like, did she just forget she just told me this yesterday? But as I wondered and wondered, Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I received my answer the day Mr. Morrison romped in the human anatomy in that good fella manner he usually displayed and boomed out, "Hey, what do you all want to do today?" Some people said, "We want to play cards. We want to paint our nails." Psst, right. To my surprise, Mr. Morrison said, "The lesson's on the wall. If you need me, I'll be across the hall. Do what you want to do." Now, this could be the rebellious spirit that was in me at the time, but I continued in the lesson. Surely, this was a test. I read, and I heard the laughter, and I read, and I smelled the nail enamel, and I read the same paragraph 3 times in a row. You see, I was enticed by the need and desire to want to fit in. I was drawn away and to my peers to do that which I thought was fun. And fun we had. This went on throughout the quarter. We even set up a spades tournament that concluded with the championship at the end of the quarter. You know we won. Yes, we did. Speaking of end of the quarter, final exam time. Mr. Morrison made it easy. See, he laid out all the specimens we dissected throughout the quarter along the lab tables, and all we had to do was go along and write the name of the organ on our answer sheet that matched the colored pen that was stuck in it. And of course, you know, we used the buddy system. Lewis, what'd you get for the red pen on number 2? That's the gallbladder on number 3. Let's get it right. Let's stick together. Now, Mr. Morrison had announced that 5 of the 21 of us passed the final exam. I was among those who had failed. I know, I didn't understand it either. Now, we had to come to school to make up this final the Saturday after school had already let out for the summer. Not for the final exam points, just a little extra credit to help with your final grade. Now, some people still failed. Fortunately, I got a low B, but I could have had an A. Now, after this final makeup exam, I asked Mr. Morrison, "Why in the world would you sit there and let us fail like that?" He answered me in the form of a parable that he learned as a young boy. He said a farmer went to sow seed, and he scattered his seed. Some fell to the wayside, some fell on stony ground, and some fell on good ground. Now, Mr. Morrison used my peers and me, as an example to explain this parable. He said, for those of my peers that represented the seed that fell to the wayside, they were the ones that received the lesson, but immediately turned and went off to do that they desired. Now, I represented the seed that fell upon the stony ground. I received the lesson. I began to grow in the lesson. But that lesson began to get choked out by the cares of me wanting to fit in and me wanting to have fun. And of course, the seed that fell upon good ground, as Mr. Morrison said, Nina, need I tell you, this seed represents those of your peers who passed the final exam. Always do what's right because it's right. If they're jumping off the cliff, Nina, don't jump off the cliff. Immediately, the eyes of my understanding popped open, and my grandmother's voice resonated on the inside of me. The road to righteousness in life is far less traveled. Not the same people, Mr. Morrison and my grandmother, were definitely saying the same thing. Since that time, I've birthed that seed to follow that road less traveled. Self-development. There's not too many people traveling the road of Toastmasters. Not today. I don't know what you normally do on Saturday at this time in the morning. I know what you did do today. You've chosen Toastmasters. This road less traveled. Contest Master.